Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Love Like It. Give us a minute to get ready to pull up melanated people over here.
We got a new well, it's not really new, but melanated people is a platform like Facebook, but it is designed for us as Black people. Got no static.
I don't know what that is.
I take it you only ain't paying. I take it you only ain't paying nobody. You're the host. You're the technician. You're the producer.
We gotta raise some funds around here.
Everybody
gotta get paid.
You're saving money like Rick Ross. He cut his own grass.
All right, you all welcome to Love My Kidneys, where it takes a lot of love.
That's right.
You already know it takes a lot of love to love yourself. So all praises is due to Allah. We are blessed to have in the building today our dear brother Desmond Muhammad. He's going to be with us. This is your opportune time. I remember this in the final call days when they say you get to go call somebody. Get to go call somebody and let them know that today some of your questions can be answered about Black men's health. So if you got people that's dealing with health challenges, that's dealing with, trying to have a better quality of life health-wise, here's your opportunity to ask a brother that's been in the field. I mean, with his boots on the ground for 20 plus years. So This is a great opportunity, family, for you to be able to come on in and ask your questions. But before we tap in with our brother, we got a few things for you to support first. Okay? All right. Okay. Hold on.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth news on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, family. So if you are not a subscriber to the baddest, boldest, coldest newspaper on the planet, giving us that unbought, uncompromised truth, we ask that you please do so. That you go ahead and come on and get your subscription, because in an hour like this, we need absolute truth. We need absolute truth in an hour like this. Brother, we see you. We'll bring you right back in a minute. We need absolute truth, unbought, uncompromised. One of the things we love about the Final Call is that it is not corporate media controlled. It is controlled by us. So therefore, we get the opportunity to print the real news that we can use, that's going to help us to be better, that's going to help us know exactly what's going on. So if you are not a subscriber to the Final Call, we ask that you would become one, and you can do that, as it said, by going to finalcalldigital.com. Again, that's finalcalldigital.com. Okay? All right. We're going to move on to the next thing. Do something wrong. I did something. I don't know what I did. Oh, when I switch that screen, that stops. Okay. We in real time, family. All right, family. We want you to strengthen your immune with Paximune. We want you to strengthen your immune with Paximune. That's what it was. Okay. We want you to strengthen your immune with Paximune. If you don't have your Paximune, family, we are proud distributors of the Paximune that helps to modulate our immune system. We thank Brother Dr. Abdullah Muhammad and his staff over there for helping to bring this to us. And if you need your Paximune, you already know you can go to our online store and get yours today. Okay. So we're going to hit you with that in the chat. So if you don't know, you can actually go ahead over there and take a look at it and go ahead and get yours today. Okay. So that's how we're going to do that. All right. And lastly, you know how we do around here. You know how we do around here. It's still early for us. Therefore, before we get started and get heavy in with our conversation, we want to welcome our brother with something special that we made for him. And we want to wake up your mind at the same time. So we give you a little bit of theme music, okay? So check it out. And here we go. All right, family. Welcome. And welcome to Love My Kidneys. We appreciate you being here. And now is the time that we've been waiting for. And that is the time to bring our brother on, Brother Desmond Muhammad. So get ready with your questions. All right. All right. Oh, did I do something wrong? I thought I added him in. My fault, family. He gonna come back in a minute.
No, that's okay. I
It's
can go
all
while
right.
you do that.
Okay, go ahead, honey.
I want to, of course, say Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome to Love My Kidneys.
There we go.
We are so honored and blessed to have another beautiful black man on the show today. You know, as you know, this Thinking Thursday for the month of June is honoring the black man. And we're honoring the black man because we love you.
That's right.
We appreciate you. We need you in our community. We need you to be healthy. We need you to be strong. We need you to be one with God, you know, and we know that there's going to be a lot of steps that we got to take in order to make that happen. So we are bringing the intelligence. We're bringing the wisdom, we're bringing the knowledge, but most of we are bringing the Spirit of God from our brother Desmond Muhammad to talk to the hearts of the Black man. So thank you, brother, for your presence and coming today. We thank you and appreciate you. How are you doing?
All praises due to
Praises due
Allah.
to Allah. Well, we always begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful. Certainly, I'm doing well. I'm thanking Allah for life. And
Yes,
I'm
sir.
grateful to be with you all. And
Yes.
I think the book says, not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit. And I certainly feel the spirit of yourself and your husband um, that you bring on this show and you bring to the world. So if this show has anything to do with the spirit, then I'll say it's a successful show.
Allahu Akbar.
Well, that's what we like to work with because we
Yes,
know
sir.
that Allah is on the water. He's on the mind,
Come on now.
and he comes through us. So that's what we, our community is the Black man is so important to our community. But we know that without a connection to Allah, we have nothing.
That's right.
We have absolutely nothing. We see what happens when the Spirit of God is void in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
So we understand here at Love My Kidneys that everything starts. That is the basis of everything for us is the Spirit of God, and that's the spirit that we come with.
That's right.
Oh, praise
That's
God.
right.
We want to welcome Melanated People family as well over there. For those of you all who may not know about it, you need to get in the know because as we delivering this hard hitting truth, you know what they doing. They trying to take us out of everywhere. So we got to have another place that we can go, and Melanated People is that place. Also, Black Enough Network as well, and it's a few other ones too. It's a lot of other ones. I know those off the top of my head.
Right.
So welcome, 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 family. We are blessed to be in the building with our brother Desmond Muhammad. Please go ahead and get your questions ready. Get your questions ready about health and wellness. Our dear brother has a plethora of knowledge and information because, as we said, our brother has had his boots on the ground in the medical industry for over 20 plus years and have seen many, many things. So that's what we want to talk about today, dear brother. We would like you to first just kind of introduce yourself, let people know some of what you do and have done, and then we'll jump in with our questions.
All praises due to Allah. Thank you both. I always first like to give shout out to our student regional minister, Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad, who always remains Christ conscious, and certainly he is in love with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and going after our people. And so anything that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asks, he tries to be the epitome of making his word bond. So we're grateful to him for the 10,000 Fearless, the ARC down in Atlanta, Georgia, the entire Southern region, and in trying to reach Black men in particular also, to give us a better mind, body, and spirit. So we're grateful to Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad. Always shout out to him. About myself, of course, I was born on the island of Dominica between Martinique and Guadeloupe in the West Indies. Grew up in St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands. My family moved there at the age of 9. So I did my elementary school, junior high school there. Did my nursing at Broward Community College. It's now Broward College. And, I've worked in a plethora of nursing departments, cardiac floor, telemetry. I did step down, post open heart, pediatric dialysis. I did, of course, adult dialysis. Worked in the psychiatric intake department. I've just seen a lot. We've seen birth, we've seen death, we've seen everything in between. We've seen the cycle, and so life. I would say life, from what I've seen over my plus 20 years, is that there's going to be birth, and there's going to be death. But in between, our devotion to God and the quality of life that we live, and the memories that we make, in furthering the quality.
What happened? I didn't do that.
No, you didn't do that one, babe.
I didn't do that.
Okay.
I didn't. There we
All
go.
right.
I
That,
didn't. I didn't do that one.
I'm not sure who's doing. I'm not sure who's doing that one, but it's being done. But the thing is that every time it
all
knocks
right.
me off, I'm gonna come back in. So
All
where did I
right.
leave off?
Praise.
You were
The
talking about
quality
the
of life.
quality of life. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. The quality of life is so important. People are gonna sleep tonight, whether it's on a posturepedic, a $10,000 mattress, or it's gonna be, or it's gonna be in sometimes because of difficult times a homeless shelter. Some of us are homeless, and it's gonna be on the cold ground. You
Mm,
know, so the difference is in the quality. That's the
right.
difference in our devotion. That's the difference in our lifestyle. The difference in the choices of food. Uh, difference in the way that we think.
Right.
Everything depends on the quality of
Mm,
what we do and how we do it. But that also depends on the acquisition of knowledge. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has so beautifully taught us that difference between the human being and the animal is certainly the acquisition of
mm,
knowledge. So we're grateful to Allah for the nursing process, what He's allowed me to see, and I
yeah.
hope that we can use what we've acquired to stimulate men and induce men to take part in their own health and
Yeah.
getting better health for themselves and for their family and ultimately for our community. Thank
Mm,
you.
yes, sir. All praises due to Allah. But we're gonna jump right on into this fireside chat, talking about this beautiful black man. What are some of the things that you've seen in the difference between, let's say, other nationalities of men and then black men in dealing with their health issues?
Well, black men are very slow to respond to their health issues. Sometimes, when someone comes through the emergency room, you ask them, how long has this been going on? Or 3 months, 1 year, and sometimes wives, mothers force and prod men to the emergency room
Mm,
because we don't take that initiative to try to catch things in the early stages when we become symptomatic of certain
mm,
disease. And that just comes from a lack of knowledge, if you would. Once we become knowledgeable of life, and that's the most precious gift that we have, then we would have a different view. And once we begin to take on a different view with the acquisition of knowledge, then we would have a different attitude towards the precious gift and life that we have. So I've seen, black men in particular are very slow to think about good health. We think about big muscles.
mm,
You know, we think about big muscles. We think about, great stamina for having sex, and that's good too. But it's not the greatest because life begins with the spirit of Allah, and then the acquisition of knowledge, and then of course the best of foods which sustain life, and then sex which extends life or procreate. Then those things are certainly the most two natural appetite, as we've been taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But the quality that we're getting from our thinking limits us in the reverence of life, if you would, our approach to life, our approach to the maintenance of life. So where we lack is, my dear sister, is in the knowledge that would give us that requisite knowledge to approach the proper maintenance of the life that God has given to us while we're here.
yes,
Yes, sir.
absolutely.
I just want to bear you witness about the big muscles aspect. I heard Will Smith say that he's always eating for his physique for the movies and stuff like that. but it never crossed his mind to eat for health and nutrition.
Mm.
He said it never crossed his mind to eat for health and nutrition. He was only eating to bulk up the muscles or eating to help him, like you said, build his physique, but never focusing on eating for good nutrition and feeding the body. So my question for you is, how important is it for us to not only as far as do regular doctor's visits, but starting with eating habits? How important is it for us to have good eating habits as black men?
He'll be right back.
He'll be back, family.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So I don't
Inshallah.
know what's
There,
happening.
there we
but
go, brother.
we go keep tapping in. He gonna keep on.
Almost.
Come on.
Use my own data. It's obviously the Wi-Fi is being knocked off. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So how important is it is to eat? Well, let's start with scripture. That's where I'm most comfortable.
Go ahead.
You know, when Christ comes, he comes to give us life
More
and give us life more
abundantly.
abundantly.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
So we can deduce, going from general to specific, of course, that there's something wrong with the quality of life that we live, and that Christ himself would have to come to give us life more abundantly. Not saying that we don't have it to a degree in abundance, but obviously coming from God, you know, we're not maximizing, you know, the quality of life that we could be living.
Right.
So someone would have to teach us how to eat, and someone would have to teach us what to eat.
Go ahead.
Of course, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us how to eat, to live. And there's a book, 1 and 2, How to Eat, to Live. I know you got it in your library. And certainly,
I got it.
and certainly the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, of course, the enemy tried to write the Honorable Elijah Muhammad out of history, because he understood that if the black men begin to think and eat like God taught us, that would be a threat to his society. Not because we would try to overthrow his society, but we would be so consumed with producing a healthy society encapsulated by God's wisdom and his spirit, that he, like a leech, would fall off, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us that he's a bloodsucker. So let's begin with how to eat to live. You know, the first thing is, what is our mental state? Our mental state has to be in accord with our spiritual state, and then physically we'll eat the right things. Allah moves us, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, by desires. So we don't have the desire to eat right. That's number one. If we did, we would. They say where there's a will, there's a way. Right? So because we don't have the desire, we have to entice our people to make them to know that there is quality food, and that there is information that buttresses or supports the way that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us how to eat.
Yeah.
Of course, the enemy is not going to give him full credit,
Right.
or in most instances, no credit.
Right. They just steal the information.
You know, and this is where you and I, like on your podcast, must continue to herald the truth of what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said. You know, now you see a glimpse of intermittent fasting.
Come on now.
You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us 1 meal a day.
That's right.
That's right.
And
That's right.
fast 3 days for every month.
Come on now.
And then, of course, during the month of Ramadan.
Right.
Go ahead.
So the enemy, he sees the benefit of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said, but he does not want to give the Honorable Elijah Muhammad credit. So he gives it to our people in just small snippets, if you would, right? To affect change in their life, but not for total revolution that would help to build the kingdom of God. So the kingdom of God and the building of the kingdom of God has an aspect of diet and diet regimen in there.
Go ahead.
Because when we build anything, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said the next challenge is to protect what we've built.
Right.
So
Yes.
eating right for the longevity of life, eating right for the quality of life and the sharpness of our mind and our thinking, not having any poisons in our blood to slow down the thought process
Right.
is paramount and very, very important, because the young is for war, but the old is for counsel.
Right.
And so we can't even grow old anymore without forgetting where we've parked.
Right.
Can't
Right.
grow old, without forgetting our phone number. You see? So the quality of life for many Black men in our 70s, 80s, if we're blessed to reach our 90s and 100-year-old, is not to the point where we're so sharp of mind that we can pass on to the younger generation what to take what Allah has blessed us to build and further it into the future. So eating is paramount. Why? Because it preserves life, and the best of food preserves life. I would say this: why would you put the best gas in your car?
Come on now.
Why would you want the best of rap music? Why would we want the best of everything, best fashion? We want the smoothest rides when we jump on an airplane.
Come on now.
We want the best of everything. And certainly we should want the best, because that's respect for God's creation.
That's right.
Right? But why not the best of food? Spiritually.
He'll be back, family. He'll be back. I mean, he is dealing right now. So this is an opportunity for you to get your questions in. All right.
Yes, sir. So why not the best of foods, physically and spiritually, if we want the best of everything else? If someone shortchanged us on our paycheck, we want to know, hey, what's up with the accountant?
Right.
I was supposed to have 1,800. I ended up with 800. You know what I'm saying? I got shortchanged. So if people shortchange us and we get upset and angry, why aren't we angry at ourselves when we shortchanging ourselves? It's because we don't have the acquisition of knowledge that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has brought to us through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So eating and the best of foods is paramount.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely, brother. As you're speaking on that, it is really the key to health. How much we eat and what we eat. The more that we eat, the shorter our life is going to be, because we, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, wear out our stomachs, and the stomach cannot be replaced. So, we're taught, in the SAD diet, the standard American diet, which stands for SAD, right?
Right.
That we should eat 3 meals a day. And now they even tell diabetics you should snack in between, smaller meals and things like that. And it doesn't make any sense. You're wearing out your stomach. And I just have to say, from personal experience, going from the 3 meals a day to 1 meal a day, I already felt like it was less going on, inside of me. But doing 1 meal a day and then trying to go back to eat 2 meals a day, like 2 full meals, you're stuffed the whole day. It's like, how did I used to eat 3 meals and snacks? And it's a beautiful thing, because when you rid your body of it, I can only imagine what it would be like if I still ate 3 meals a day being on dialysis. I don't think I would ever feel better. How would I feel better? Because I'm putting toxins on top of toxins, And a lot of times what I find with Black men is they ignore what's going on inside of them. They know that there's something not right, or they may even know they've been diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes. And this is not just Black men, because as women, Black women, we do the same thing too. We just keep it moving, until one day we break down. So how do we really start addressing these impediments that we've placed in front of our own selves about taking better care of our health?
Praise be to Allah. Wonderful question. Well, everything is a process.
Mm,
You know, we've entered into the process, the resurrection process.
mm,
You know, having a child it's a process. It's growth, it's development. Hmm? Everything evolves from simple to complex. Even the sun and its relationship to the earth, as we call it, the rising of the sun.
mhm.
You know, it happens in stages based on the angle of the earth. The sun is not in its zenith when you wake up. You
Right.
know,
Right.
we see it, you know, incrementally raising to the level that it would raise to when it's in its zenith. So the first thing is that we must give a man a word. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in Message to the Black Man, that monumental book. Oh, you have it in your library, I see.
Oh, brother. Oh, I got it. It's a little beat up. I start reading, you know. I got it.
It's good to know we still have librarians around, you know. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in that book, the monumental book, Message to the Black Man, that in words are light, life, and power.
That's right. That's right.
You know, words have that ability.
Right.
So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan states on in Closing the Gap, a beautiful book that he is answering questions.
Oh, he
I
got
see
it.
you got that in your library too.
Oh, yes, it's right here. Oh, brother, come on, man.
I thought I saw you flipping through the pages.
Oh, it's right here.
I thought I saw you flipping through the pages
I
over
got
there,
it
brother.
up there with my holy
Oh,
Quran.
he got his too. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
that book, of course, and of course, this is not planned between Brother Carthel and his wife, Ms. Natalie, and myself. He just so happened to read the same books that I read.
Oh, man.
There is no. He's gonna pay me later. I'm gonna pay him later. No.
Right.
But he said on page.
Oh, all right, family. Just be patient with us. Again, this is a good time to formulate your questions, family, that you may have about health and wellness. Uh-oh.
In and out.
There we go. Just be patient with it. We're going to keep on rolling now.
Hey. You know what? It's just to teach us that in life and in the process, sometimes there's going to be interruption. But don't get dismayed and be in despair and wallow in self-pity because we fall down sometimes, you know.
Right.
You know, we planned that great diet and one day we had some lemon pepper wings. It's okay, just start back the next day. And that was lemon pepper and ranch sauce, brother Carson.
Not the ranch.
Oh, man.
So we try our best to stay off of fried foods, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But he said on a very serious note that the process of rebuilding or resurrecting starts with enticing people to come to the truth and to have love and respect for the law. So every science, there's a law. The science of eating, there's a law. The science of thinking, the science of mating, the science of business, there are laws. They are immutable, unchangeable laws. So the first thing that we must do is entice, give a good word, right? And when we give a good word, because there's light in the word, according to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and because our people are in darkness as it pertains to the requisite knowledge needed to be a God or to develop the God in us, then don't be surprised if sometimes you get a response that may be uncouth. Because when someone is in total darkness and you just shine the light, all of a sudden, hey, hold on, man, come on now.
Let me adjust.
You know, I was sleeping, you know what I'm saying? And you just You know what I'm saying? You just turned the lights on. You could have turned it on in degrees or tapped me or something, but you just so we have to have patience with the people to whom Allah has sent us to. And that's best displayed in the way that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is encouraging our people, inducing our people, right? With love.
Right.
With
Yes.
love. Even when people say ill things about him, he still sees the best in them. And of course, that's most magnanimous. And that's one of the great attributes of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, how he dealt with his very enemies. But Allah still made him victorious because of his love to see humanity in a better place. So that process begins with enticing, and that begins with a kind and gentle word. And then Allah himself will produce the circumstances, right, to evolve the seed that he blesses us to plant in his own due time. So you and I, what we do is we hurl truth and falsehood until it knocks out its brain. But then you and I get so, despaired and so angry with our people not responding immediately to what we know is supreme wisdom, based on the benefits of our own personal life, that you and I have become symptomatic of freedom because of ingesting the truth of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and certainly how the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan epitomizes that truth. But we have to have patience and love for our people and give them a gentle word and requisite knowledge and point them to the final call.
Go ahead.
Point them to NOI.org. Point them to the final call store. And that's the best that we can do, is offer a gentle word.
Absolutely, brother. And I've learned on this journey, because of course when you come in, you're young and the knowledge that you're receiving, you're so excited and you want everybody to get it right along with you. You want them to see the light. But like I said, sometimes that light be so bright, they're not ready to receive it like that. And you have to learn patience and practical application, applying it yourself, and I know that, for me, my family over the years have decided, like the younger generation, they don't eat pork. None of them. They tell my mother, I'm not eating that, and so my mom doesn't eat it as often, maybe she go out to a restaurant, but it's not even cooked in the house anymore because a seed that was dropped years ago on the detriment of that animal. So, we just have to be consistent ourselves. And although we may not see it immediately, we see it in the younger generation. Like all of the young men in my family, they like, no, we don't eat that. They're more concerned about their health, and they're more willing to, go to the doctor and, and check up on themselves. So I really love that, that we're seeing more of our young people take a better interest in their health. And I applaud that. Definitely. We just have to be careful, in my opinion, on, taking everything at face value. He'll come back in and preferably he'll be able to hear my comment. Maybe I'll just hold off on the comment until he comes back in.
There we go. All right.
But my concern is sometimes we take our doctors of medicines as gods, and we put so much into what they say, and not look at the natural way of healing our bodies. And I know you've been in that field and you've seen it from both sides. So if you can, speak a little bit into how to balance that, listening to your doctor, hearing your doctor, but also seeking out natural modalities of healing.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you for such a wonderful question. Well, one of the things that happens often is that by the time we learn of a diagnostic process or some diagnosis, it's usually fatal or close to fatal. By the time, disease have what is considered latent stages, where it's brewing, but you're not yet symptomatic of the disease.
Right.
And because we don't have yearly checkups, which I encourage everyone to, if you had planned on buying 4 Nike Vapor Maxes this year, buy 3 and use that.
Yes.
use that other $200 to get a nice checkup and a full, laboratory review of what's happening inside of your body. I don't want to deter you from buying some of those sneakers, but the thing is that health first, because
Right.
you can't wear those sneakers without good health. You'll be wearing them in a
Mhm.
wheelchair, you'll be wearing them in a coffin, right?
Right.
So the thing is that we have to entice people to the truth, but we have to make sure that our people and our approach towards our people is soft. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we have to cajole them
Mm.
to the truth. And when we cajole them to the truth, then you will see the response that we're looking for in wanting the men to address their health needs. So what I've seen is men always waiting
Mm.
to find out what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh? And what's the approach for that balance after you find out what's going on? That approach is usually relative to the knowledge base. We're Western people. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said we have a tag says "Made in America," so we're gonna go to we're gonna go to people full fledged and say, "Give me everything that you say," right? And we're gonna do it. But what I don't want to sound like is the natural approach is the best approach, because the natural approach is in best relation to us, which is the original man.
Mm.
Go ahead.
Elijah Muhammad said, we are the original man. But I don't want you to have a blood pressure of 250 over 125. And someone says, drink garlic tea. And it came down to 249 over 124. And stay there for the next month drinking garlic
No.
tea.
No.
Because
No.
right now you're in crisis.
Right.
So
Exactly.
emergent conditions require emergent intervention.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
So you got to at least, you got to take those blood pressure pills and
Right.
wean yourself fast off of them by lifestyle change, by
Right.
diet regimen change,
Come
Mm.
on.
Okay.
by mastering the process of thinking and not
Mm.
being stressed with the worries of this world. And that in itself is a process. So
Right.
the benefit of having a balance between what the doctor says and what natural approach is to this diagnostic process is, where are you? How
Mm.
critical is it? You can't be
Right.
critical and thinking that now all of a sudden now the things that are preventive measures are going to save you. Remember, they're preventive measures.
Right.
You're not in the preventive phase anymore. You're in
Right. Yeah.
crisis phase.
Go
And
ahead.
it demands crisis intervention. So don't lose a toe or lose a foot or lose an arm or get a stroke,
Right.
Come on.
right? If you
Right.
would, because we fail to address the impending acuity or emergent nature of what's going on with ourselves,
Mm.
be it high sugar, high pressure, or anything else that's happening to us. So I would say first, take that approach, stabilize, and then with a calculated approach, change a lifestyle
Right.
that would allow us to wean ourselves from these medications.
Mhm.
Because in
Yeah.
everything, there's great risk, but there's also great adverse reactions.
That
Come
is
on
true.
now.
Right?
Come on,
So there
Bill.
isn't a medication without poison.
Go ahead.
And that's why we
Right.
fast. So if natural foods, the best of foods, have poison in the breakdown of that food, and we have to take a break from it by fasting,
Mm.
then you could
Right.
imagine medication. We got to take a break from that too. So the
Yeah.
approach would be first to stabilize yourself, and then take a natural approach to what.
Yes.
All
He's
right.
right
All
on
right.
it.
He own it. He own it. Shout out to our brother Dr. Green Thumb and everybody over at Melanated People.
All right. Peace, fam. All right. Let's keep rolling.
Go ahead, brother.
So that's the balance. And then, of course, you want to acquire knowledge of anything that you're doing.
Mm.
You just don't want to jump into something without first Googling it and getting multiple sources about whatever process it is that you're studying. What's best? What's the best approach? What to do? What to stay from? We
Go
have
ahead.
to be in the business of enticing people to be more studious. And that
Right.
comes, and that's why I keep speaking about that spiritual and mental state of health. Because once we can reach people there, then the other facets of life, everything else that's going on, even diet regimen, we can bring into place. Because there begins a revolution of the mind. Look at the purpose of Muhammad Mosque. The first purpose of our Muhammad Mosque is talking about bringing people into the wisdom of the truth.
Right,
Hmm?
right.
It begins with the inoculation of. It
Re-educating.
begins with the principles of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
It begins with all those things first. That's the first purpose, right? And then it talks about the leading of an Islamic life, as taught and exemplified by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our Lord, our Savior, our Redeemer. So first, it begins with, of course, infusing wisdom, knowledge, understanding, giving to the people requisite knowledge to cause a revolution in their mind.
Come on.
That's where the change begins, because we don't want just temporal change.
Right.
We want to put them on a path and on a process where they can, with Allah's assistance, begin the mastery of the process of thinking to have a better life, spiritually, mentally, morally, and ultimately financially.
Go ahead.
I just happen to like nice cars.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, but you deserve the best. You deserve the best. And you know, I really appreciate the way that you explained it, because you know, I do believe in natural ways, but I also understand that that machine is helping me along with my process.
Right.
You know, and so I'm grateful. You know, Allah allow people to think and create things for a reason and a purpose.
That's right.
You know, and you do have to know where you are. And I think the taking the responsibility for your own health, your own well-being is vital, because it's your journey. You know, you got to your situation differently than I got to mine.
Right.
You know, and so we have to take that individual approach to what is best for you. We have a one of the gentlemen a few months back, maybe 6 or 8 months back, um, he was in one of these groups that, you know, I hate dialysis, you know, chronic kidney disease, and it's very depressing. And it's one of the reasons we started Love My Kidneys, because it was like I can't hang out with them people because they depressed. You know, they got a lot going on. But I still go over there because I want to help somebody else come out of that mindset. So anyway, I touched bases with the brother. He was in the process of having to go on dialysis. You know, his doctor had already started talking to him. His blood pressure was way out of whack. He was just unhealthy, depressed, and having all the symptoms. And me and my husband spoke with him and counseled with him and helped him to get onto a journey of his own. And we spoke with him, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday.
Yes.
This brother is on TikTok teaching other people now how to bring your sugar down, you know, how to lose the weight, how to stay off of dialysis. He is doing it. He stayed off of dialysis. His numbers have totally reversed. He's on his journey. And everybody has one, right? Everybody has one, but we have to take that first step. And the first step is the connection to Allah.
And
Go ahead.
he said that he started following this book.
That's right.
He said that's what set him on this journey. He started following How to Eat to Live. You know, he said he had it, but until by Allah's grace we talked with him, then he began to activate. You know, I think sometimes people think that yes, knowledge is power. That's true. But if you don't activate the knowledge that you have, then it's just sitting in your head. That's it. You got information in your head that you're not using. So if you have to realize that it's not enough to only acquire knowledge, as my brother said. And the resurrection process means that I'm being brought back from a dead state now, degree by degree, until I become that living perpendicular on the square. Meaning, not only am I hearing the word, I'm doing the word, I'm acting on the word. As the scripture says, the law guides my footstep, or is the lamp of my feet. Like you said, the law of eating, the law of thinking, the law of God becomes the lamp on your feet. And I just want to say one more thing. You know, as you talked about getting your yearly checkup, I watch Sanford and Son a lot. And
it's the big one.
and I think Lamont in the show really showed you how we feel as black men. He said, well, as long as I don't know, I don't got it. As long as I don't know, I don't got it. Then when he found out, he said, I got it, Pop. He said, I got it. he said, I got it now. And when he found out whatever it was he had, I can't remember, he immediately began to think of it as a death sentence for him. See, that's not necessarily always the way, you know, because they told Dr. Ava Muhammad she had what, 3 months to live?
Right.
What is it, 30 plus years later? You see what I'm saying?
That's
so
right.
that don't, a diagnosis is what it is. Meaning, this is what we found. You know, now, like you said, now you have to figure out, well, how am I going to attack it? What am I going to do? How am I going to use what they given me along with what I know to help bring me back into balance? We'd like to welcome our brother Amaru all the way from Abuja, Nigeria.
All right.
He's tuned in with us right now. So
All right. Praise be to Allah.
that's all I had to say.
Yeah.
Well, you said a mouthful, so don't say that's all you had to say. You know, when you talk about, if you don't have any questions, law, what we got to do is remove the negative connotations with words such as law and control. You know, in the Western world, we have such negative connotations with certain words.
Right.
You know, there's a Christian song, Order My Steps.
Yes.
In your word. You know, that song gives me chills.
Yes.
You know, and I YouTube that thing often. You know, order my steps in your word. You know, you're asking God to control your steps.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with control.
Right.
The question is, does the controller love you?
Go ahead.
Does the controller hate you?
Right.
And we've been here for over 400 years. We should know by now that our open enemy and his children,
right,
the slave master and his children, does not have our best interest in mind.
At all.
Come on now.
Right?
That's
why the purpose of the mosque, the indoctrination in the religious principles of Islam, which is, of course, is undergirded by freedom, justice, and equality, as taught to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The indoctrination, you know, you want to get them to take it hook, line, and sinker, you know, without being critical of what's being given to them when they recognize the benefit, and we recognize the benefit of what's being given to us. You know, that's a part of indoctrination.
Right.
When you're fully indoctrinated, you're not critical. And most people use indoctrination in a negative way, but it's in our it's in the provisional constitution of the Nation of Islam. The indoctrination in the religious principles of Islam and the leading of an Islamic life, as taught and exemplified by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our Lord, our Savior, our Redeemer, the Messiah.
That's right,
Come on
brother.
now.
Because what he gives us life and life more abundantly.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
To black men's health, I would read something from Closing the Gap to attack the health of all of us as black men, of course, women too.
Yes, sir.
He says, in the truth is the law. So whatever we give people of truth, there's already a law in there. Doesn't mean they're going to respond to it immediately. But a lot, again, will create the circumstances as they evolve to recognize and have appreciation for that law.
Right.
Right? When you teach the child the law of gravity, initially they don't know. They'll walk off a ledge.
That's true.
Break your vase or your vase in your living room. You know, I mean, children tear stuff up, but it's not intentional.
Right.
They're just moving about with the limited knowledge that they have. But as they grow older, when they come into the law of gravity, they're not walking off no roof just casually like that.
Right.
Because they know the internal law of gravity, which means splash a few seconds later, right? So they respect the law of gravity. They respect the law of motion, of physics. So we don't walk in front of moving cars unless we're feeling suicidal.
Right.
But if the life force in us is dominant and we want to live, then we respect those laws. So he says, in the truth is the law, but in the truth is not necessarily love of the law. That has to come from the heart when it is connected to Allah God. Right. When the heart is connected to Allah God, it sees the law as a blessing from Allah God to give order and regularity to our lives and to discipline our affairs. Then we grow in love with the law. When we love Allah God and love the law, we outgrow the need for the law. So then love is the end of the law. Isn't that beautiful?
Allahu Akbar.
But that's not where our people are. That's not where we are. So once we give people the truth, we have to recognize we're not yet connected to God the way we should be.
Right.
The one giving the truth and the one receiving the truth.
Yeah.
The only time that we have a negative outlook on the person that we're giving the truth to is because we think we've arrived. So one of the better approaches towards giving black men information is knowing to yourself how insignificant you are.
Right.
And how significant God is.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to see ourselves, Brother Carter, on this journey with enticing black men, that we are insignificant. That we are but agents of God trying to bring requisite information that will cause a revolution in the mind of another child of God.
Go ahead.
Unless you just want to be the only child. You yourself.
It's no fun in being the only child.
Go ahead.
No fun in being the only child, brother. You're so right, because when we do humble ourselves, with our people and bring in knowledge, information, and just trying to be a vessel. When we strive to just be the vessel, we see more response as opposed to I'm imposing my thoughts on you, or you should listen to me because I know I got it. I believe this, and you're absolutely right. And I think the approach, one of the approach also with black men is letting them know how important they are to us in our community, and how valuable that they really are. Because I think a lot of times we suffer from low self-esteem. We don't think nobody's going to miss us if we die. We don't see ourselves as valuable, not just as men, but especially our black men, because of what you all have gone through in this country and the devaluing of the black man, especially in America, but all over the world. So we have to constantly, in my mind, let us make man. Yes, that means woman, but the word that comes first is man. And we know that man, it's Allah, it's man, it's woman, it's child. There's an order. And I know that 75% of the work is with the woman, but we need that 25% to hold the table up. We need the brothers, to be able to function in their full capacity so that they can protect us. They can control the environment so that we can have a better place to raise the children.
Come on now.
And so, sometimes when we're out and about with the homeless, and or if I just see a brother that's, on drugs or wherever he is, I let him know how important he is to the survival of our nation. And that goes to our health and well-being. And so, here at Love My Kidneys, that is something we want to, constantly bring light to, is the health and well-being of the Black man, but all of us as a whole. But this month in particular, because it's honoring the Black man month, that is what we want to honor, and we want to uphold the Black man. So, if you could speak a little bit into the value and importance of the Black man in the community.
Praise be to Allah. Well, the Black man, the Asiatic Black man, he is the original man. Let's start where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad began.
Yes.
The original man. Certainly, what we want to do is stick to the language.
Come on now.
That he used. He didn't use superior, right? He didn't use greatest. Let's stick to his language. His language is, the Black man is the original man. And the book says, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end.
Right.
So it says, when we rule again, we will rule with a rod of iron. There is gonna be rulership.
Right.
Go ahead.
You say, well, why do they have to be a ruler? God says he takes the kingdoms from whom he pleases, and he gives it to whom he pleases.
That's right.
We've been taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that the Black man in America has been chosen by Allah. Well, what does that mean from coming from the Caribbean? Let's hold your place. We coming to you down there.
Come on now.
Don't get too excited. The Black man in America has been chosen, right, to be the cornerstone of God's kingdom.
Right.
The Holy Quran begins with, in chapter 2, having no doubt in this book and believing in the unseen.
That's right.
So even in the Black man's pitiful state, we have to see in the unseen how valuable he is. And how do you know how valuable he is? He's valuable to God.
Yes.
In the way Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, sees us, right? He sees us as original.
Yes.
Right? And the cornerstone of his kingdom. Didn't say that we're going to be the only ones in the kingdom.
Right.
Come on now.
As the cornerstone, as the tridestone of his kingdom.
Right.
Yes.
So the value of the Black man is relative to how God sees us, not how our open enemies, the slave master and their children, sees us.
Exactly.
Their value for us is sport and play. God's value for us is world rulership and righteousness.
Right.
And bringing the entire family back to his way of life.
Yes.
So if the Black man was not valuable in the eyes of Allah, then why does the slave master and their children spend so much money trying to concoct drugs to keep us down?
Right.
It's because they know the inherent value of God's intention for us in the hereafter.
Right.
And so they're trying to keep us blind to our destination.
Right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
The imminent victory that God will give us to be valuable in his sight. So he's chosen us not to brag.
Right. To lead.
He's chosen us for a purpose.
Right.
And that purpose is righteousness. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has a, I'm not sure if it's a series, but certainly it is Young Black Youth in Peril.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
right.
Yes, justified homicide.
Right.
Justifiable
Justifiable
homicide.
homicide.
Yes,
Black
Right.
sir.
people in terror. I would tell
Yes.
everyone to watch that
Yes.
video or series. Why?
Right.
Because it's the aim. You see, well, you are like conspiracy theorists. Well, if you believe in the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, ain't nothing but conspiracies.
Come
Right.
on now. Come on. That's the truth.
Dude pulled up
Yeah.
on Adam and Eve with a conspiracy. Don't eat this fruit. Eat
Yeah.
this fruit.
Come on, man.
Right? Cain had a conspiracy. He moved to Moses. Pharaoh had a conspiracy. I mean, and
Come
you could
on,
delineate all through the book. You could delineate from Genesis to Revelation, nothing but conspiracy. So don't
Come
tell me
on,
nothing
man.
about conspiracy theories. There is conspiracy.
Come on.
There are
Come
people
on.
today conspiring to take other people's husbands and wives.
Yeah.
Come on now. Come on
There's
now.
people
And
conspiring to keep other people down from getting a position on a job. Always conspiring.
Come on
that's
now.
right.
There's people
Yeah.
conspiring with these television shows to keep us down by what
Yeah.
they
Oh,
promote in Hollywood.
Absolutely,
So the
brother.
conspiracy theory is real. But the
Very.
book says they plan
Yes.
and Allah plan. And
yeah.
Allah
Yeah.
is the best of
The
planners.
That's
Come on
right.
now.
It says
Come
the
on.
elder on is on the scene, hurling truth at falsehood,
That's
Yes.
right. That's
teaching
right.
black men how to respect themselves. We don't hear
Come on.
about that,
Come on
right?
now.
Where
Come
the
on.
Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan chides us,
Mm.
right? Where he
Right.
corrects us.
Yes.
Where he
To be our
tells us
best.
what we should do and what we shouldn't do.
Come
Right.
on now.
The man is the mouthpiece of God.
That's
Come on,
right, brother.
man. Teach.
But he teaches us in such a loving way
Yes.
that we are thankful to him for the correction. Thank you for the spanking, brother minister.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Go ahead.
Right.
Teach hard,
So
man.
we by Allah's grace, we've given, you know what I'm saying, tacit consent to spank us. Go ahead, brother minister. I know it's good for me.
That's
Yeah,
right.
go ahead. Teach
But
hard.
everyone hasn't earned that respect because not everyone is willing to sacrifice their own life for the benefit and value of the black man. So we have to let the black men know the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have over 65 years of sacrificing his life.
Yes.
For us, he was offered $500 in 1955 per show per week to
Wow.
Come
play
on
in
now.
clubs. That's 5,000 in about 1995 or 96.
Mm.
Come on now.
That's $20,000 a month for about 2 hours.
Right.
Go ahead.
Don't tell me he hasn't sacrificed
Yes.
Come on now.
a whole
right.
lot. You know what I mean?
A
Go
whole lot.
ahead.
More than
For the
what most
benefit,
people are willing.
yeah, for the benefit of us. So we have
Right.
to teach black men that they are valuable because of their ability to forgive.
Mm.
We represent the Christ because
Yes.
Christ is so forgiving, right? Jesus is so forgiving. Well, you could shoot a black family and they'll come up on TV a few hours later and say, we forgive the shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
No, white folks say, no, find the shooter. We got to deal with that shooter.
Yeah, we gotta deal with the shooter.
And,
You're
and for
right.
those in your viewing audience who say, why the black and white issue? Well, it's the most toxic issue in the world.
Come on
Right.
now.
The issue between black and white in America.
That's right.
And what we've
It's the
displayed as forgiveness, you have not displayed toward us.
right.
That's just real.
Yes.
So the black man is immensely valuable because of his ability to forgive, but also his ability to love.
Yes.
The only thing that we have not done is love ourselves to the degree that we attempt to love other people. So we have to teach the black man self-love.
That's
Go
first.
ahead now.
First.
Yeah.
Not
First.
just love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself.
Self. Go ahead.
Self-love. Self-love.
Yeah.
Teaching that black man self-love. And when he falls in love with himself, he'll fall in love with the acquisition of knowledge because he'll know that he's the maker, the owner. He's the cream of the planet Earth. The black man is the God of the universe, teaches the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right. That's the right there. What did the message say? First, love yourself.
There we go.
That's right.
Excuse me for getting so passionate.
Right there. Come on now.
I love that,
Come
brother.
on,
I
man.
love that passion,
Come on,
in
you
you.
turning water into wine over here.
Well, don't get drunk, brother Coffee.
No, we just gonna get high on the spirit of Allah. When you were talking about justifiable homicide, I remember at one point the minister said, "You don't think these young boys need a hug?"
Yeah.
And it touched me in such a way because we see our young men as just hard and criminals and not even thinking about what they're up against.
Right.
And sometimes they just need that auntie to say, "I love you."
Yeah.
They need someone to let them know how important they are, how valuable they are, not just to us, but to God himself.
Yeah.
He loved us so much that he came in person.
Come on,
came
man.
after us, and that is the knowledge that we have to let them know and scream it from the mountaintops, that Allah came for us. We are the chosen of God, and we're chosen to do a work, and that is to, bring the kingdom of God forth,
Yes.
and yes.
If you don't mind, while you're speaking on that point, I spoke to I'm on contract at a dialysis clinic right now. And there's a gentleman that has a very flat affect. I would say clinically depressed.
Okay.
And they said to me, "Oh, he's mean. He doesn't talk." And so I want to say, in our approach towards the black man, you have to find out what moves them. It doesn't mean you're going to stay there, but it's going to be your portal of entry.
Right.
Okay. Even germs are looking for a good portal of entry. Like, how do I get into this body?
Yes, that's true.
Good teaching, man.
Men who desire women are looking for a portal of entry.
Right.
Who's her friend? Who's her mother? What is she like? What can I say to her? How can I impress upon her? Hey, man, give me a chance.
Right.
So
Right.
I started to talk to him, and what you do is you throw different things out. You throw out God, okay, he didn't respond. Throw out money, okay, he didn't respond. Throw out fashion, he didn't respond. I threw out sports. Guess what? He responded. Obviously, that's my portal of entry.
Right.
So we spoke for about over an hour. I forgot I had more work to do because it was good to see his face light up.
Yeah.
So you say, well, we don't want to talk about sport and play. Well, not all the time, but in that moment, yes.
Right.
Because it was brightening his affect and his mood.
Right.
Am I going to send him to a sports bar? Not to get drunk. No, I told him drinking is bad for him, but go have some wings. He said, "Oh man, me and my wife, we used to frequent sports bars." Now, I said, "When was the last time you've been?" "I haven't been since I've been on dialysis." I said, "Well, go get some, and there's some, salmon and, different things that you can eat that's good for you, and just enjoy a game." And he said, "Oh man, I'm going to try to get tickets to the Hawks game." Came back, he told me, "Oh man, they were a little steep. They were about $800. People had already purchased them and started scalping them. But we have a connection now.
Right.
So now that's my portal of entry, right? Because we've moved where his desire moves in. All of us are moved by desires.
Yes.
So now I can introduce everything else.
Everything else,
in
right?
increments, right?
Yes.
Because I know our first conversation, how we opened the door, is how the Hawks did last night.
Right.
How the Hawks did last night is a means to an end, the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes.
The end is his capturing his imagination.
Right.
And once we have the imagination captured and we're engaged, now we're sharing the same valence. Now we can make new compounds, if you would, right?
Exactly.
Gotta be able to share valences. That's how God works. That's how water's formed. If hydrogen and oxygen couldn't hold the same valence, we wouldn't have water. If Brother Carl and Sister Natalie couldn't share the same valence, we wouldn't have this beautiful marriage.
Yes.
You know, if Brother Carville hadn't ran you down for the last 20 years trying to find out who is that sister. You know, Brother Carville, I had to break the promise. You asked me not to mention that, but I just had to say it. He was chasing Sister Natalie. I understand.
Well, all praise to Allah, right?
Religiously chasing Sister Natalie. Brother Carville, you can pay me later, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You know,
But it's portal of entry, Sister Natalie, for very free. It's portal of entry.
And that's important, you know, to know how to reach our people, you know, how to who they are, because in the proper handling of people, you know, you want to always get a person saying yes. So that means you have to understand where they're coming from, you know, so they can say, oh, okay, well, you agreed with me. Now I'm going to agree with you, you know,
Right.
and now we can build a relationship where I can impart information to you, you know, that I've been blessed with, and we grow from there. So, you know, of course, we want to continue to strengthen our communities. We've been sheltered in place, and so, you know, the internet has really been the best avenue to reach our people. But we're gonna, as you know, we deal with this pandemic and deal with the virus, and I did want to touch on that a little bit in just a moment. I'm gonna just make this comment, but as we start moving more out into the communities, you know, I think our unity is definitely more powerful than an atomic bomb. You know, and those of like minds and hearts that, you know, understand that we have this goal, we really have to work more closely with one another and creating bonds,
Yes.
you know, with one another. So, because doing things individually, you're going to get a certain response, but when we do things collectively, you know, we can do it across states, but we just do things more collectively, you know, we're going to see more success in our efforts. So, with that being said, I wanted to talk a little bit about the coronavirus and the what can, you know, Black men in particular, but all of us in general, do to with underlying conditions stay away or stay off the coronavirus.
Well, the first thing that we have to do is be um, conscious that it is real.
Yeah,
You know, I was stricken by it, and on December 26th is when I became symptomatic, and certainly visited death's door. Extremely lethargic, weak. I think everything hit me except shortness of breath, and I said that was the last symptom that I would have before calling 911. So, you know, I didn't think I was gonna die, but I didn't. I thanked Allah for allowing me to live on His earth, and I got that from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan confessing that that's what his daughter said to him when he was on his deathbed. So I wouldn't have that approach. I'd have been begging God to spare my life. There's still some things I want to do, but because He displayed to us so magnificently how to thank God, even when you're on your deathbed. When I was on my deathbed from coronavirus, you know, that's what I did. I thank God.
Yeah.
So let's start with unseen does not mean unreal. Okay, the wind is real, though you can't see it. You can see the effects of it. Right? So unseen does not mean unreal. So just because we can't see the coronavirus doesn't mean it's not real. Number two, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked us to stay away from large gatherings.
Yes.
You know, and because we're social beings and we are experiencing coronavirus exhaustion, burnout from not being able to socially aggregate and congregate like we used to, you know, get together, you know, for the 411, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
We right now have a very heavy urge to start congregating again. But he
Right.
said, stay away from large gatherings.
Yeah.
He said, wear your mask. And of
That's right.
course, he said a whole lot of other things, and you can find that on noi.org, and look at the criteria. What the
Right.
Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said last July 4th, 2020. He gave, the outlook,
Mm.
and he also portended for us what would happen with this. He uses the word pestilence,
Yes.
right? Because he's
From.
a man of God, the mouthpiece of God. They use the
Mm-hmm.
word pandemic relative to medicine.
Mhm.
So what we can do is take safety precaution, wash our hands. The MGT, of course, has put together a book on how to disinfect. We
That's
all
right.
should spread that as much as possible so people can get their hands on a copy,
Mm-hmm.
of how to
Right.
disinfect, how to wash, how to keep our areas clean. And cleanliness is godliness. So
Mm-hmm.
we start with that. The next thing that we have to start with is get the book, How to Eat to Live,
That's
That's
right,
right.
brother.
because all of us are going to be stricken with bacteria and viruses. Who's going to get sick? Who's not going to get sick? It's relative to our immunity.
Right.
So if the immunity is weak or suppressed, then that virus has the capability of overwhelming the body where we become symptomatic, and sometimes it's our ultimate death. So two
Right.
people can be stricken, bitten, right? Encroached
Right.
by, insulted by the same virus, the same bacteria, and one could ultimately die, and the other one stay totally asymptomatic, showing no signs, no symptoms. And that's relative to the immune system, not relative to the strength of the virus. It's the
Right.
immunity of us that is able to withstand, right?
Right.
To
Yes.
withstand. You have some treadmills that can hold 200 pounds. You have some treadmills that can hold people up to 400 or 500 pounds. And if you put someone who's 400 or 500 pounds on the 200-pound treadmill, well, then ultimately, you know what's going to happen
Right.
at the
Not
end
gonna
of that treadmill, right?
That's right.
I mean, it sounds very, I don't want to sound facetious in any way, but,
mm-hmm.
if you've ever been fishing, the certain twines and lines that you use, they're tested.
Right.
This one can only hold 5 pounds. So if a big fish bite on this bad boy, it's the
It's
end of
gonna
your
go.
line, right?
Right. Yep.
There's 10-pound tests, there's 100-pound tests, 500-pound tests, 1,000-pound tests, right? So based on what you're doing, that immunity, the immunity of that fishing line, or the strength of. So once we say immunity of, we're talking about the strength of, the integrity of, our ability to defend ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of sunlight, vitamin
That's
D, out of sunlight.
yes.
Eat the proper foods. Eat that navy bean that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has asked us to eat.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right? And you don't have to see it as a commercial on Housewives of Atlanta or the Super Bowl for it to be gold. Okay? That came from God. Eat that navy bean.
Yes.
You want a choice of dessert? Get that navy bean pie. Navy
Go
with
ahead.
that bean, right?
Yeah, you
And
know
then you
how
put a little bit of vanilla ice cream, Haagen-Dazs on top of that bad boy.
Come on, stop.
Take it easy, brother Papu. So,
Long way from dinner time.
yes, sir. So we have to take precautions, and we have to build our immunity. Vitamin C. We have to get what is considered Paximune, as you mentioned.
yes.
Sir.
And you are a distributor, so you can tell the
Yeah.
people in your chat how to, get that. Cuba, which has advanced medicine, is using the Paximune. So we have to do
Right.
everything within our power to encourage people to get proper sunlight, to eat well, to stay off of
Yeah.
processed foods.
Mm-hmm.
Processed foods are filled with salt and preservatives. And let me tell you something. When you get an opportunity and you go to the store next time and you buy bread, which really should be flour, water, salt, yeast,
Yeast.
that's it.
Yeah.
You want cinnamon bread, add a little cinnamon. You want banana, add a little banana. Whatever flavor you want, add that natural thing to give it flavor. But bread should
Right.
not have 30 ingredients.
No.
Come on now.
And when you look at
Definitely.
some of the
So
ingredients,
good.
right, when you look at some of the ingredients that they have and you Google it, I mean, the ones that you can't pronounce. And don't tell me you could pronounce all of them, because I can't pronounce all of
No,
Right.
them. Right?
sir.
And I look it up
Right.
and it says, oh my God, they use this in fixing cars, and they use this in rocket fuel, and they use that. Oh my God, and we're ingesting
And it's in
things
the
like
bread,
that, for
you know,
bread.
right.
Go ahead,
Which,
my sister.
which is a daily supplement, your daily bread,
Yeah.
and that is one of the reasons the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us how to bake our own bread,
That's right.
Yeah,
and that is something so simple, but we are being attacked on so many different levels. We talked about conspiracies earlier, and it is true that Memorandum 200 is a memorandum designed for the depopulation of human beings from this planet,
Yeah.
and part of us, our health issues, is that there's a war going on
Mm-hmm.
and we don't even recognize that we are at war,
That's right.
right.
you know and this is very, very real. And when it comes to the vaccine, like the honorable minister Louis Farrakhan said, if you come trying to force that on us, that is a declaration of war.
Yes.
We
Big
have to
shout out.
know.
Big shout
Yes,
out to Finale. Go ahead.
yes,
Go ahead.
we have to know where we are in time.
Yes.
We are at the time where the kingdom of God is coming up, and the world of our enemy, of the devil, of the wickedness, is coming down.
Go
And
ahead.
so when you at war, there's a certain kind of stance you got to take. And even when you at war, you in battle, you may be hit, you may be shot, you may go through something, but if Allah blesses you to wake up the next day, you got to gather up the strength to keep on moving forward.
That's right.
And you got to pick up that soldier next to you and pull that soldier with you so that you all both can make it. And that's what this is about, family. It's about us all making it to the best of our ability. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, we got to get through this hour. And the way we're going to get through this hour is get through it together, strengthening one another, allowing, like my brother, to come on to the show to be able to share the wisdom that Allah has blessed him with in the years that he have been doing what he's doing, not just work, but his life and living, the love and the passion that he gives to the Nation of Islam and the Black men in Atlanta.
That's right.
If you are in Atlanta, go and find the 10,000 Fearless.
Yes.
And I want to talk a little bit about the art, because I read the article in the final call, but I know you hands-on, and please give our brother our love and our greetings,
please.
praying for his continued health and healing as well. But if you could share a little bit with us about that art, so our family in Atlanta can come and be part of those that are saved.
I want to get on it. No, I'm messing with
Well, not to take away from Minister Sharif, but just to give a big shout out to Dr. Wesley, because the last time he taught at Mosque Mariam, and you can pull that up on noi.org. The last time he taught at Mosque Mariam on the coronavirus, I mean, big shout out. That brother did such a marvelous job in really outlining what happens physiologically, and also outlining what the devils have done, and repeating their history, right? And he is not just attacking quote unquote white people. No, he is outlining their history and what they've done to us, but he's also outlining physiologically what's going on with the coronavirus, the lies, the truth, of what they attack on Black men and the world. So we're grateful to Dr. Wesley, one of the great agents, emissaries of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who's doing a wonderful, wonderful job in his research and in helping us to understand what's going on the micro level and the attack on us. Now to our beloved brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad, who You know, one of the difficulties in life, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, it takes great strength to abide in wisdom. So you can get the information, start the process, and then get distracted. You know, and then next year it's going to be the same New Year's resolution, and next year the same New Year's resolution, and next year.
Yeah.
So Natalie said, "What year is it, man? You look up 10 years later, same New Year's resolution."
It's the same old resolution. Oh yes.
Brother Coughlin, we don't want no confessions on this show now.
Right.
Oh, now.
But it's not light, but I'm making light of it to make it more palatable, to let us see how we're easily distracted, and it takes really great strength, as Minister Farrakhan says, to abide in wisdom. Great strength. So life is to know God and his Christ.
Go ahead.
Every question you ask me, I have a spiritual base because that's where I'm comfortable, right? Life is to know God and his Christ. So our struggle in life after we meet Christ and we meet truth is to remain Christ conscious or truth conscious, and then have the discipline to have that thing regulate and bring order to our lives. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gives us great ideas from Allah God and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And then we jump on it like, whoa, like a jolt, you know, and then it dissipates. You know, not that the truth itself is attenuated, but in our minds and how we perceive the truth and our dedication to the truth, that attenuates, that weakens, that evaporates, that dissipates, right? That's off the burner, right? We try it next year for New Year's resolution. But what I found in Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad is the amazing ability to keep what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked in the forefront of his mind and in front of the community.
Yes.
God, Lord have mercy. If I can give him the love he has for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and our people, you know what I'm saying? Always remaining Christ conscious to do what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked. It is a pleasure to serve at his behest.
Yes.
I would say that again. I mean, that has been the best servant in trying to help him make his word bond to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But I'm praying for that wit and that strength and that discipline to be a better helper to Brother Sharif, to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because he's always Christ conscious. So he came up with the idea of the ark. Of course, you know what the ark is, a refuge and a shelter in the time of storm. You know, as in the Christian church, mighty rock.
Yes.
Right? So in the ark is an oasis for business ideas. It's sheltered to the 10,000 fearless, which the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked for 10,000 fearless men and women to come between us and our community and the guns. Right? It's crisis intervention, a place that we can have as a, office space.
Okay.
Which is necessary.
Yeah.
Because everything begins in the mind. So we have to set up a beachhead in enemy territory.
Right.
That's what Brother Sharif has done in the ark. You know, anything that we want to do, there has to be a meeting place. We don't like meetings, but meetings are very important. So 10,000 Fearless's headquarters there. Rise Magazine also.
All right.
There.
All right.
Yeah. Beautiful magazine displaying some of the things that we're doing, Black people are doing in the community. We have to have a magazine.
That's right.
Right? And so the fish program is bringing back where young men will have to fish going door to door, making a decent living. Instead of selling drugs, we're selling fish.
That's right.
I got that white, baby.
There's an apparel store there where you can buy some fashionable stuff, headpieces, garments, different things.
Oh,
You know,
nice,
yeah.
nice.
And it's good to come down and take a tour. I advise and encourage everyone to come down and take a tour.
What's the
You know,
address?
well, 3642, so it's 3638 Campbellton Road. So
Okay.
3642 is the mosque, and it's right next to the mosque,
Oh, it's
Campbellton
how
Road,
awesome.
right,
Okay. Yes,
right
sir.
next to the mosque, right?
Okay.
And so we're grateful to Allah for Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad. We prayed for his continued success, and we want to ask those of you with long pockets and a big heart to donate to the Ark.
Yeah.
You know, give that man $1 million. Give him $2 million. Some of us got it like that. Give a
Yeah.
penny if you could, $10 if you could. Why? Because nothing, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, supersedes the sanctity of human life. So
That's right.
anything that's geared towards the maintenance and the evolvement and development and the preserving of human life, there's no
Mm,
set amount of money you can give to that.
right.
Even if you like a Bentley, you couldn't really admire it without your eyes.
That's
That's
right.
You
right.
couldn't drive it without your hands. You
Mm,
couldn't go from
yeah.
one destination to the other without your mind to even set that GPS. So life and the preservation of it is the greatest gift. So what Brother Abdul Sharif is given deserves our contribution, monetary
Yes.
contribution, right?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because he's doing
Absolutely.
great work in the art. And in this world, the Western world, you're not going to get nowhere without no chips. Got to have some chips now.
You have to.
Why? Because
That
this is a
that
capitalistic society.
yeah.
So we need money to help us to evolve the Ark as an oasis where he can now start having hundreds of outreach ministries, if you would,
Hmm.
from the mosque
Right.
and from the Ark into our community to evolve and to induce change and serve as a great catalyst and oasis for the Black community. And hopefully
Yeah.
inspire ministers all over the nation of Islam and the world to do the same. We got to wake our people up to the war so
Right.
they can
Yeah.
participate, says the Honorable
That's
Minister Louis Farrakhan. We're not
That's
just going to
yes.
wake you up and do the work for you. You got to participate.
Right.
right.
That's right. My brother told me when I was younger, because I used to always say, I don't like no games. I don't play no games. He said, well, the game is being played. Either you're gonna win or lose. So it's going on with or without you.
Right.
So now you got to decide where you fit in all of it. And what you all are doing in Atlanta is a great inspiration. Always has been. When we lived there, of course, we had Blue Seas restaurant that I worked at for probably about a year. And so the first time we came to Atlanta, it was Brother Sharif's beautiful face, greeting us, letting us know we were welcome to the city and let's go to work. And that's always been his MO, even in Chicago when we were there when he was supreme captain.
That's right.
It's let's go to work, family, and that's what it's about. We got to go to work on our health, because without our health, we can do nothing. So
That's
we
right.
have to have our health and our wellness. Brother Desmond, we thank you so much for your time. We thank you for popping back in every time the internet decided it wanted to do something else. And your consistent spirit, brother. We thank you and appreciate your time today. And of course, we look forward to our next encounter on Love My Kidneys.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm free, I welcome coming back to you all show. I actually enjoy this.
Yes, all praises due to
Allahu
Allah.
Akbar. And for you all who don't know, our brother is also working behind the scenes on that the relationship series that
Right.
comes on every Saturday. So if you're not familiar with that male-female relationship series, definitely go ahead and search for that on Facebook. Has a beautiful picture of Brother Abdul Sharif there, and you can get involved. So for those who want to be married, those that are married, those who are looking for ways to improve your marriage, go ahead, tap into that show.
That's
That's right.
right. All praises due to Allah. Well, brother, may Allah continue to bless you and guide you in your efforts. If it's anything that we can do to help you all along your journey there, hey, we are right here for you. Okay.
And
Yes,
please let
man.
us know how they can donate to the ARC. I put the address but let us know how we can
Right?
donate
Is it a cash
to the
app?
Ark. Is it a cash app? Is it a website we can go to? What do we do?
I don't have the information on me, but I'm gonna send it back to you so you can insert it into.
Okay.
And
Yes,
if you
sir.
can't, has Brother Sharif ever been on this show?
Not
We
yet.
gon' definitely want them to be on this show, and we know you the man that can bring them.
Okay. Well, I will definitely reach out to him because I think he's a great asset and he definitely can speak for himself. And
Yeah,
I will
I
always,
know it.
yeah.
Yes.
Sir.
He's
He can
such
speak
a
for a
wealth
lot.
of knowledge. Um,
Indeed.
in reading his book and what he experienced,
Yeah,
with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, it truly would be an honor to have him
indeed.
on the show, any of our shows, any of our platforms, because he can speak right into it because of the wealth of knowledge that he has. So, brother, anything that, when you can speak with him, that would be awesome.
That's right. He
Praise
is
be to
always
Allah.
welcome.
Yes.
He is the Southern Regional Representative, but he'll always be one of my supreme captains too. Believe that. That's when I came in. Okay.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. So, brother, we thank you again. May Allah continue to bless you. We always enjoy your spirit. And, brother, one of the things I know you got a lot going on, but I want to plant a seed right now. With the beauty of the spirit that you have and your ability to serve, brother, whether you know it or not, that is an online course because that's something for nurses, something for doctors, something for teachers. And you can teach the spirit to serve, brother. It can be an ebook, it could be an audio book, it could be an online course. You can record it at your leisure. So then when it all comes out, you got the book, you got the ebook, you got your online course, and they can tap in with you and learn the beauty of the spirit to serve. Because
Right.
some
Especially in
people,
this
they
capacity.
just don't know how.
Right.
They
Right.
don't know how. They never been taught. And I think you would be a great helper in that way.
Yes. Oh, praise
Thank you. Thank you for the advice. I received
yes.
that.
Yes, sir. All right, brother. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Yes, sir. Have a
Likewise.
great day,
I hope to
brother.
see
Yes,
you all
sir.
soon.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yes, sir.
Oh, praise is due to
Oh, praise
Allah,
is due to
fam.
Allah, fam. But before we jump off, I wanted to show you all, that we
Well,
doing
let's do
the
this.
the Paxi Meal. We talked about that.
Yeah.
So we do have that available for you.
And it's flying
Uh,
off the shelves,
and it's
fam.
flying off the shelf. So if you want to get yours today, again, you can go to
And let me say this: this little bottle right here, it's 2 ounces. Um, but you only have to use 2 squirts in the morning, 2 squirts in the evening. So this one bottle will last you over 30 days.
that's right.
Okay.
Three of us are using it.
Right. The three of us are using it. We usually take a little bit more if we're going out in the public.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, fam, 2 squirts in the morning, 2 squirts in the evening, help build your immune system. Eat to live, and not to die, fam. All
That's
right.
right.
And of course, you got to be safe with your face mask.
That's right. And we
So
got it. We got it with the beautiful
here, let's do
Love
this.
My Kidneys logo on there.
Y'all, you
That's
see
right.
that?
We got it. Shout out to brother Raphael X. Shout out to my brother for designing that for us. We appreciate him for bringing this into reality, fam. We
Right.
appreciate him for bringing it into reality. That is available for $10.
Only
That's
$10,
available
fam.
for only $10 right there.
And
We
that's
gonna.
going to include your shipping.
That's
Okay.
right. And
So
also let.
that's a $10 donation, family.
That's right.
The donation is going to Love My Kidney Center, our 501c3. Okay, that is allowing us to become a nonprofit so that the monies that we receive in, we can give it back to the community to help them find natural holistic modalities in their healing process.
That's right. Uh-oh, now we got some other stuff for you.
All right, fam. So I'm gonna give it to you like this. Um, can y'all see that? Is that too close? Might be too close for one, but these are really, really nice t-shirts. This one is in red and pink. I'm gonna flip it around. So I got this one in the pink. Y'all see that? This one in red over here.
Let me pull it back some.
I know I was
So
doing
you
both at the
all
same
can
time.
see. So you got the pink one right here that we
Right.
have available.
There you go, baby.
The
That's
shirts
smart.
are going for 25. You also have the red. If you like red, we do have that. Well, you see that custom tag on there, okay?
We have a tag, y'all.
Yes, right. And lastly, you have the black. We're gonna have other things soon coming up, and we
Well, we
got a
have our
coffee cup.
My son, he cleans up so quick. He took the coffee cup back,
Right.
to put away because I finished my coffee. But these t-shirts are $25, right? So the majority of the proceeds go right back into the 501c3 or the fundraiser for the 501c3.
That's
And then,
right.
of course, we'll have to use some of the money so that we can recoup and buy more t-shirts. Right now, we do have medium, large, extra large, and 2X.
Right.
Those are the ones that we have available right now. So definitely send us a direct message. Let us know what color you like, what size you need, and that will be $25. We're only going to do a $3 shipping on it. We're going to keep it at its minimum. When it comes to the shipping, I'll probably put it in a envelope for you. That way we can keep the price low enough for you to support. One of the reasons it is important, I'm going to put it up here again. One of the reasons it is important, family, to wear this is because it brings awareness to our community that there's an issue going on with dialysis and kidney, renal failure, a chronic kidney disease in our community. We see the dialysis centers popping up all over the place. It seems like, whenever you see a McDonald's, there's a dialysis center really close by, and McDonald's may be the reason why, but that's not my point.
Right.
My point is, we want to bring awareness to the issues that's going on in our community and let them know that we have to love our kidneys. It takes a lot of love. Family, I haven't done this in a while, but go ahead, touch your kidneys. Tell them, I love you, kidneys.
I love you,
I
kidneys.
love you, kidneys. Thank you.
Thank you
for the hard work that
for
you
the
do.
hard work you're doing.
Thank you to continue.
Thank you to
doing that
continue
hard work that
doing
you
that
do.
hard work.
I love you.
I love you.
And we have to tell our kidneys that. We have to treat our bodies like that, that we love our body and that we only want to put the best in, and you don't want to keep putting food on top of food on top of food. We already had that conversation.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Chris.
Brother
Welcome,
Chris.
welcome. I don't
Peace.
know if you've been here for a while, but welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, brother,
And
coming
Sister
in.
Charlene.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. And everybody that's tapped in with us
Melanated
today.
people.
Melanated people. Thank you, thank you, thank you
Yes.
for tapping in with us. We've been blessed today with our brother Desmond, who did a fantastic and a wonderful job.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate him and appreciate you all for tapping in with us. I just want to, as we get ready to close out, we're going to close with a little more music too. But we want to highly recommend, if you don't have these books, I'm going to start
like
with
you said,
this
pull
one.
it back some so both of them can see.
Okay. How to Eat to Live, book 1, book 2. Go right now to store.finalcall.com and get your copy. Not only get it, read it, study it, follow it.
Right.
Okay. And we want to give a special shout out again to our brother Hannibal, who was on the show before. We highly recommend this book right here, In My Father's Steps. And it is a self-reflections and lessons in my journey to Allah. Absolutely wonderful book. If you want to be a better parent, a better father, a better child, you want to really take a deep look into some things that are going on in these modern times and our disconnect with our youth, this is an absolutely fantastic study. So we highly recommend you can get that at HannibalMuhammad.com. That's
right.
HannibalMuhammad.com. You can also pick it up on Amazon. And we got one more book. Now, Brother Ishmael actually mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when he was talking about the race issue, and he mentions quoted out of this book, "Race in North America" by Andre Smedley. Sorry.
No, that's
Audrey Smetley.
Mm-hmm.
We do have this available, and as you know, it is hard to find. Allah did bless us to be able to get it. It is online right now. If you go to Amazon for as much as $60, $70, all the way up into the hundreds. Family, we got a few copies. We only letting it go for $44. That's right. We're gonna let it go for $44 for you. Okay, $44. So if you're interested in getting a copy of that book or any of the products that we talked about, hit us in the inbox. Let us know, and we'll definitely direct you in the right way. Okay,
Yes.
so we're gonna close out with a little bit more music for you. And again, remember that we love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Be the best because you are absolutely the best, and continue to let the spark in your mind create a new reality. And don't forget, it takes a lot of love
That's right.
to love and heal thyself. So we're gonna again play a little bit. I'm gonna back just a little and right here, and we're gonna play a little more music, and we're gonna close out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please share, subscribe on our YouTube, like on our page, share our page with those who you know that would benefit. Assalamu alaikum. Oh yeah. All right. Oh yeah.
All right.
All right, family. Have an
Praise
awesome
be to
rest of your
Allah.
day. All right. All
Assalamualaikum.
right, Brother Chris. You may not be on Facebook a lot, but we are also on Melanated People. If you're not familiar with that, you definitely should do that. If you get an opportunity, just download the app and become part of Melanated People. It is the black version of Facebook.
It's black owned
It's
and
black
operated.
owned and operated. Also, Black Enough Network, a Black Enough Web Network as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one too. So for those of you all who are looking for alternatives, not that we don't enjoy being on Facebook, but as you see, when we mention certain things, they take us off, they kick us off. So we got to have another means,
And we need our own.
and we need our own. We had them to take video off YouTube with Dr. Keeley, and he didn't even mention nothing about anything dealing with the virus or nothing like that. All he did was he was talking general and about health and wellness, and they took that down. So I'm just saying they don't want you to hear nothing like that.
No truth.
So no truth, but we got to keep on pushing forward. We're going to keep on using this platform along with those platforms as long as you allow us to. And also, we do use Instagram as well. That's Mind Spark Creations.
We can also send you a direct link to any of our videos, brother. Just send us a direct message so we can connect with you.
Yeah.
If you wanted to consult in any kind of way regarding some health issues, anything that we can do to help you, feel free to send us a direct message. Okay.
That's right. And you can also go on YouTube, and that's Mind Spark Creations. All of our shows are there, and that's right now I think 150 so far.
All right. All praises due to
150,
Allah.
if not more. So all praises due to Allah. Once again, family, may Allah bless you and your family. Stay safe out there.
Yes.
Stay masked up. Get your packs immune.
Right.
All right, family. Assalamu
alaikum. See you at 3:00. Queen of Rap.
Queen of Rap. That's right. Don't forget that. We got a special episode for you. Queen of Rap.
That's
all
right.
Praises due to Allah.
Ali.
And that is going to be at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. That's 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And that is 3 o'clock our time. All right, family. Assalamu alaikum.